Welcome back to MMA Al Dente. I am the guy who picked Dustin Poirier to defeat Michael Johnson. And I'm here to talk about Max Holloway versus Arnold Allen, main event. Max Holloway is a living legend. You all know this, 23-7. And he's only ever lost to excellent fighters. The 7 losses include 6 by decision and just 1 by submission. Dustin Poirier is the guy who submitted him in his very first fight, I think, in the UFC. Holloway's, I should say. And that was with a triangle armbar in the first minute or two. Other than that, though, all decisions. Another one to Dustin Poirier, 3 to Volkanovski, 1 to Conor McGregor, and 1 to Dennis Bermudez, who, if you don't know him, he's not of the other guy's caliber, but he's a very good fighter. He was a very good fighter for his day. Very good. But recently, and between all that, by the way, Holloway went on like a 15-fight winning streak and became a champion and a living legend. Anyway, the only guy to beat him recently is Volkanovski and kind of Poirier. But every one of those fights was close, aside from the last one. And that's the only thing that's a little disconcerting, is Volkanovski just shut him out in the last fight. He wasn't able to get him out of there, of course, but Holloway just was playing catch-up the whole time. And still, though, I can't write him off. I can't chalk that up to him falling apart, the wheels falling off here, because that's Volkanovski, and of course we saw what Volk did against Islam Makhachev. And Holloway, despite all the mileage, he's 31 years old. And against anybody not named Volkanovski, he's looked very good. We saw him in a tooth and nail battle last year, whenever it was, against Yair Rodriguez. We've seen him dominate Calvin Kattar, Brian Ortega. These are the guys in that realm that Allen's in right now, where he's trying to break through to that championship level. I guess you could argue he's already there, because I know he was floated as a name to challenge for Volk's title. But that went to Yair. And that went to Yair, I mean, of course, because of what he did against Brian Ortega and Josh Emmett. But Yair's stock rose drastically after he fought Max Holloway, just because he made that a competitive fight. It opened everybody's eyes. And Arnold Allen, he can gain a lot, even in a loss to Max Holloway, but certainly in a win, he can gain a lot here. Arnold Allen, he's 19-1. His one loss also comes by decision. It's to Marcin Warocek. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but I know the fighter. He was on Tough, and very good fighter. Could have been a UFC fighter, but still, the fight itself was very close. And you could argue that Arnold Allen won it, and you almost can't argue against the fact that he very likely was about to finish him in the final minute of the fight there. If you had extended the fight by another 30 seconds, you can't argue that he would have got him out of there, because I think he would have. But nevertheless, his 19 wins, he's got 7 TKOs, 4 submissions, and 8 decisions. We've seen him have some trouble in the UFC, but he's passed every test. Makwan Amirkhani gave him a split decision, but that was bullshit. Arnold Allen won rounds 2 and 3 there. Typical Makwan. But he's got 2 third-round submission victories, both high elbow ninja chokes, whatever, the ninja guillotine choke there. And they're both in round 3, and they're both in fights that he was losing, to Mads Burnell and Alan Omer. And Arnold Allen showed, he's not a big submission artist at all on paper, but he's got some craft, and that's definitely his move. And he got pretty quick taps from both guys. And especially Mads Burnell's a solid grappler. The guy Alan Omer's a solid fighter. And they both succumbed to that choke suddenly in round 3. So Max definitely has to mind his P's and Q's with Arnold Allen. He's more than just a power puncher, which, of course, even on the feet, he's got more than power. Arnold Allen has a lot of virtues. I think he can duplicate some of the success of Volkanovski with his punching. And he's got good kicks as well. Go ask Gilbert Melendez, but I don't think he's got the, quite the style that Volkanovski has. He's not as sharp, but he's very powerful, and he throws really long punches. And he mixes up his punches very well, too. Body shots, I love his body shots. He was beating the shit out of, what's his name? I don't know. Either way, I was watching him beat the shit out of somebody with body shots, and of course, on the feet, he's got that power to just get shit done early. It hasn't happened too much in the UFC, but he's one of the few guys to steamroll Dan Hooker. And he looked like he was going to do that to Calvin Kattar, too, and then Calvin Kattar's leg ended up failing him. But I do think Calvin Kattar was in that fight for the long haul. I think Calvin Kattar is, much like Max Holloway, just very, very tough to put away. Well, one of the toughest guys on the planet. Takes a knee injury to get him out of there. But Arnold Allen, though, if it's not a crafty submission or his power knocking out Max, which I don't think it will, can he win a decision? He can. He can. I've only seen him really fade once, and it was against Sadiq Youssef, who won round 3. But other than that, his cardio's look good. I mentioned the Amakwan Amir Khani fight, and then he's had some closer fights where he pulled ahead against Nick Lentz and Gilbert Melendez and whoever the hell else. And, of course, he's got those 2 third-round subs. But Arnold Allen, it's just, a lot of questions that need to be answered here. I've seen Max Holloway in all these spots many different times. I think Max, I think like his last 8 fights, I wrote it down somewhere, but not here in this sheet. But I think his last 8 fights are all 5-rounders. Having gone 5 rounders. They're all scheduled for 5 rounds. I can't remember the last time he wasn't scheduled for 5 rounds, but every fight of his pretty much goes the distance. He's got that 5-round cardio. He can take it, losing to the best fighter in the world. He can go tooth and nail with anybody, and generally he's the last man standing. I know Yair won round 5, but still, Max Holloway is generally the guy that pulls ahead, and I'm picking him to win here. I just think I trust more of Max Holloway. I trust him to pull ahead, and you can imagine which fashion. Volume, upping the volume in the middle rounds, starting to pull ahead on Arnold Allen, who is bigger and stronger and has to feed all those muscles. And I think Max Holloway in a 5-round fight is just much more trustworthy than Arnold Allen here. Of course, Arnold Allen could win it, but I'm picking against him. Max Holloway by decision. I've bet on him winning by decision at plus 145. I do think that's his primary path to victory. He could get a TKO, of course, but Arnold Allen's never been finished. I can't fucking trust it. So that's where I stand. Hopefully it's an awesome main event, and I'm not married to Max winning. I wouldn't care if Arnold Allen won. It'd be almost more exciting for the division if he won, because I don't think Holloway's getting another shot at Volkanovski ever. So whatever. But anyway, like, share, subscribe, all that horseshit. Check out my other videos.